Hey, today I will be talking about crystals. Personally, I love crystals and I have a few, and I also quite enjoy watching and visiting mineral crystal and gems exhibits. The reasons that have led people to prize gemstones, crystals, and minerals are varied. Like gold, they have been treasured and preserved as lasting materials that lend themselves to ornamentation and embellishment. Many reflect light and refract its rays in such a way to foster the illusion that the stone actually shines with its own light. Associated with this characteristic is that of color. Certain gems and crystals possess the property called dichroism. In different lights, they appear differently colored, and because of this feature, the name dichroite has been given to one stone. The stone you can now see somewhere on the screen. This gem is a silicate mineral, better known under names like water sapphire, cordierite, or iolite. Dichroite is an older trade name rarely used today. Many crystals and gemstones are rare or are obtained at risk by strenuous work, hence they're costly and valuable in comparison. Some are found in circumstances which lend an atmosphere of romance or mystery to them. Very early in the history of civilization in Egyptian, Chaldean, and Mexican lore, it can be found that astrological significance was given to certain precious stones. Amulets and talismans were made out of hard stones even in prehistoric times. Neanderthal man had his amulets, and in Cro-Magnon times, this is the upper Paleolithic period from about 40,000 to 10,000 years ago in Europe, ornaments were made from coral, shell, horn, and ivory. It was and is unavoidable that precious stones are and were associated with religious practices. Images of the gods were embellished with the most rare and the most expensive gems, or they were made from some precious stone itself. Votive offerings of gold or silver and gems were made at the shrines and temples. The garments of the priests and priestesses were ornamented with gems. The exterior and interior of the sacred buildings were encrusted with valuable stones, and large or rare stones customarily were dedicated to sacred uses. The breastplate of the Jewish high priest was set with 12 stones arranged in 4 rows, and these gems represented the 12 tribes. In early Christian symbolism, certain precious stones were associated with the 12 apostles. I could make a whole video just talking about the breastplates and the stones used. It is an interesting topic. The Gnostics of the 2nd and the 3rd century made great use of engraved gems and crystals. The beads of rosaries are made from natural materials like natural crystals, common stones or glass, but also from less durable objects like seeds of certain plants. The Hindu rosary is made of crystal or of a shell, and the invocation Mani Padme Hum is repeated while the beads are passed in succession through the fingers. Literal meaning or translation in English would be praise to the jewel in the lotus, and this invocation is said to hold the power to transform the mind and soul. Among the Buddhists, the diamond, sapphire, coral, ruby, and cat's eye are held in great esteem for their ritual significance. In Egyptian symbolic lore, it was assumed that heavens were made of stone, and the goddess Hathor was the lady of the turquoise stone. In Babylon, there were matzebach or matzebot, small raised stones or black pillar stones on which in 3 elemental divisions are sculptured the 12 zodiac signs by which the 12 Assyrian gods are symbolized, and the 12 lions on either side of the steps leading to Solomon's throne represent the sun in its progress through the signs of the heaven. In the Middle Ages, crystals and gems were extensively used as medicines, being crushed to powder and administered to the patient. Besides the mineral stones, others were employed that had quite a different origin. These were concretions, pebble-like substances taken from the intestines or other organs of animals, and such stones were regarded very highly, being set in gold and passed on from generation to generation. Only a tiny portion would be scrapped when a medicine or an antidote was needed for some grave disorder, and even carrying or wearing such a stone was believed to bestow immunity. Now, there are some old records or stories of criminals on whom these healing stones were tried after the unfortunate persons had been given a dose of poison. And one story talks about how the offender recovered and was handsomely rewarded by the monarch whose stone had been proved to be so potent. Another, however, perished miserably in agony, and it was recorded that he said he regretted he had not chosen to die by hanging. From ancient times, precious stones were associated with the 12 signs of the zodiac. So in older times, astrologers identified the following stones with the signs. Aries was identified with red hematite, Taurus with emerald, Gemini with marble, Cancer with chrysoprase, Leo with sardonyx, Virgo with jasper, Libra with opal, Scorpio with banded agate, Sagittarius with amethyst, Capricorn with serpentine, Aquarius with lapis lazuli, and Pisces with clear quartz. Now, these days it is a little bit different, and many stones and crystals can be attributed to each sign, but even these may not be what you expect or hear often. So Aries is identified among others with bloodstone, Taurus with sapphire, Gemini with chrysoprase, Cancer with emerald, Leo with chrysolite, Virgo with cornelian, Libra with tourmaline but not black, Scorpio with aquamarine, Sagittarius with topaz, Capricorn with ruby, Aquarius with garnet, and Pisces with amethyst. Now, with this being said, according to the date of birth, certain stones are fortunate, some are harmless, and others are invested with harmful attributes. So it is not sufficient to just take the birth month into consideration. Though we may not perceive how or why crystals and gems can benefit or harm us, it can be useful to, let's say, profit by the lore and experience that have come down to us from past centuries, as any deep-rooted and widely prevalent belief sprung from a consensus of experience and knowledge. Each of the planets has its own series of light waves or vibrations which proceed from them, and the seers of the old taught that for each planet or each constellation of the zodiac, there were certain harmonious crystals and minerals, and this harmony might be one of color, as color depends on the particular frequency of the predominant vibration, or might be related to the other attributes of the heavenly body. Mythology is rich with accounts of magical rings and talismanic jewels. Plato described a ring, Dactylios, in his second book of his Republic, which rendered its wearer invisible, and with it Gyges, which is in Greek pronounced completely differently, the shepherd secured himself the throne of Lydia. Aristotle mentioned a ring that brings love and honor to the one who owns it. Henry Cornelius Agrippa mentions the same rings and also adds that upon the authority of Philostratus, Apollonius of Tyana extended his life over 20 years with the help of the 7 rings given to him by Yarkas, the wisest of Brahmin. Each of these 7 rings was set with a gem partaking of the nature of one of the 7 ruling planets of the week, and he wore each of these in turn on the day of the week which bore its name. Like this, he protected himself from illness and death by the intervention of the planetary influences. Some of the crystals that were assigned to the planets are: for the Sun, carbuncle, ruby, pyrope, garnet, sometimes diamond; for Moon, the pearl and selenite; for Mercury, the chrysolite, agate, and marble; for Venus, turquoise, emerald, beryl, sometimes pearl, alabaster, coral, and carnelian; to Mars, amethyst, lodestone, hyacinth, sometimes diamond; to Jupiter, sapphire, emerald, and marble; and to Saturn, onyx, jasper, topaz, and sometimes lapis lazuli. Eliphas Levi, in describing the regalia of magician, said that on Sunday, the day of the sun, one should carry in right hand a golden wand set with ruby or chrysolite. On Monday, the day of the moon, one should wear a collar of 3 strands consisting of pearls, crystals, and selenite. On Tuesday, the day of Mars, one should carry again a wand, but of magnetized steel, and a ring of the same metal set with an amethyst. On Wednesday, the day of Mercury, one should wear a necklace of pearls or glass beads containing mercury, and a ring set with an agate. On Thursday, the day of Jupiter, one should carry a wand of glass or resin and wear a ring set with emerald or sapphire. On Friday, the day of Venus, one should carry a wand of polished copper and wear a ring set with turquoise and a crown or diadem decorated with lapis lazuli and beryl. And on Saturday, the day of Saturn, one should carry a wand ornamented with onyx and wear a ring set with onyx stone and a chain or necklace formed of lead. It is considered that crystallization or formation of crystals is the work of Saturn, Moon, and Capricorn zodiac sign, and that all crystallization is the effect of the electric action of the planets, whether in the body or in the mineral world. Nature claims her own, the material goes to the material, dust to dust, and earth processes turn the visible parts of animals, plants, and everything else into its identical form. Today's quote is by Nikola Tesla, a great engineer and inventor who discovered and patented the rotating magnetic field, the basis for most alternating current machinery, and the three-phase system of electric power transmission. Interesting fact to some may be that he was born during a lightning storm. How fitting. Midwife saying it was a bad omen and that he will be a child of darkness, on which his mother said that he will be a child of light. And the other interesting or funny fact is that he really disliked pearls, to the point he did not want to talk to anyone who was wearing pearls. On one occasion, his secretary came to lab wearing pearls and Tesla sent her home. He remained a bachelor for life, claiming that any form of romantic relationship would distract him from his work. One of his quotes related to today's video is, "Crystals are living beings at the beginning of creation." Thank you for being here today. Please subscribe and press a like button. Let me know what do you think about crystals. Next video will also be about crystals, so consider this one an introduction. I will talk about different kinds of minerals, crystals, and gems, and I will also show you some of my own. See you in a couple of days. Bye.